What is going on, my frosty friends? My name's Wintercasice, and hi guys. It's been a while. So I really just wanted to talk and tell you guys what's been going on lately. No stream schedule, no nothing about that right now. I just want to talk to you guys about what's been going on. So you guys have probably noticed that I kind of fell off the face of the world these last few weeks. Honestly, these last 2 months. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I've talked about some of them during the streams and everything, but there's a few things I didn't talk about that I'm a little bit more willing to talk about now than I was at the time. So let's start off with a few months ago. I had a friend move in, and he basically was looking for some help, and I was more than willing to do it. And honestly, that really wasn't a problem for me when it comes to recording or streaming, and in fact, he was a delight to have around and have a nice conversation with whenever I felt, honestly, like I needed another person to talk to other than the family. That honestly wasn't a problem. I mean, it did cause some problems with recording because I felt awkward making my friend leave the room whenever I was recording. No different than, with my wife and having her leave the room whenever I'm doing stuff or telling her she needs to be quiet. It's one of those things that I feel awkward about, but it's not something that really bothered me or really prevented me from recording. I just more like a host, trying not to be rude. But there have been some other issues in the meantime. So, everyone knows that with my youngest daughter, Jocelyn, after she was born, I did mention that there was going to be times when I would be a little bit more absent because my responsibilities as a father outweigh everything else. And I still hold that to be true because I love my girls, I love everyone in my family, and Jocelyn, however, is a bit of a special case. With everything that she's been having to deal with medically, and basically doctors telling us about her weight and how her development is not going as planned, it has caused a lot of scares for me and Abby, and we've had to make adjustments for that, and I had to pull some extra weight to help out Abby because, even now I'm recording this. It's past 1 a.m. and Jocelyn doesn't want to sleep, and that's probably from teething, but it's like her teething on top of, her dealing with all her other issues that we've had to put her through, and this is only just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Jocelyn. When she was born, I gave up my office so that way I could do what I was doing, and thus I lost a quiet space to work. And also, it's not just Abby's responsibility to take care of Jocelyn. It's just equally as much my responsibility, and I don't regret her at all in the slightest. She's just a handful that requires patience, and even with her crying, still doesn't drive me away, just makes me busy and also makes me feel bad about recording or streaming because Jocelyn is my responsibility, not your guys' responsibility. I personally just feel bad if you guys have to hear her screaming. But that aside, and aside from having M in the apartment, which, he's not anymore, but, we love having him around. Just, no different than when Briggs is around. It's just a delight. That aside, we've also been dealing with a lot of problems with our living space. For the last, 2 years, me and Abby have been talking about how bad, our living space has gotten. An apartment just doesn't cut it anymore. We're trying so hard to accommodate for space, but between clothes and stuff that we've wanted and some things that we need, the stuff for the girls, and not to mention the fact that the girls they're getting older, which means that they want to play more, they want to get more active, they want to do this and that. And it's like, we take them to the park, we take them for walks and all that stuff, but they still have so much pent up energy. And when I'm not here, I can only imagine what Abby has to deal with, considering she can't put Jocelyn down for literally a few minutes without her screaming at bloody murder. So the apartment gets trashed. So, I mean, like, you guys could probably see in the background, like, the apartment is not like the way it should be. Personally, I take that as a little bit of an embarrassment on my part. Even though I can dedicate a whole day to cleaning, 12 hours later, it's a mess again, as if I never even attempted to clean. I personally think it's because of limited space. Like, our living room does not have much space to work with, but the girls are like, no, our room is too hot, like, or, you know, it's not as fun in there, we want to use the living room where the TV is. And it's like, cool, but we only have like this much space to work with. And because Jocelyn took my old office, this is where I record. This is where I do live streaming out here in my living room. And you guys have noticed I've had the camera on less and less, and it's because I hate the background. Like, I hate the background so much. And Abby understands, even though there's not really much we could do. Not to mention, the apartment has been having a lot of problems with, like, water. We've been dealing with laundry, so much competing with other patrons of this apartment for doing laundry. And it's like, hey, well, you could just go to a laundromat. It's like, cool, I can dedicate a day, because I have kids. So I would have to dedicate a day. Hi, Abby. I'd have to dedicate a day to going to the laundromat to do all the laundry for me, my wife, and my kids. This isn't like, oh, they have like 3 sets of clothes. He's like, no. Not to mention, baby goes through so many clothes because of spit up and, you know, various other fluids. Like, and I don't want to get that too deep into that, but like, between laundry and competing with them, with other patrons of the apartment for using the washer and dryer, there is dealing. So I could just see thunder in the corner of the screen. But between that, we've been dealing with water issues with our apartment for years, and we've talked about that.
A little bit.
And it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, we're not near the street, but for some reason, our apartment is the first apartment the water pipe hits, and we've been having issues with our piping for quite some time. Like, my daughters just took a bath before their first day of school. It's 2 days later, and the water hasn't gone down.
It's gone down very slowly.
Very slowly, but not much. So we've been dealing with water issues. Like, this would be like our 3rd or 4th time calling the plumber in to come take care of the problem. And they come in, they snake the drain, it works for 2 days, and then it's back to the same problem. It's just getting worse. We've been here for 5 years, and I hate it. I've been an advocate of how much I hate living in an apartment. I've talked about it to you guys. I've talked about it to everybody else. Hi, Abby. You're still in the camera.
I know.
You could sit. And it's just, we're running ourselves ragged. Not to mention, me and Abby are just always busy. We're trying to spend some time together, but we're also, like, I'm working nonstop.
We're also not alone.
We're never alone. The thing is, we've been in contact with a realtor, and I'm actually getting pre-approved right now to be looking at houses, because me and Abby want to move, but we don't want have to move into another apartment, because apartments are not what we're going for. which might mean that we might have to move. And the worst part is, it's like, I don't get to stay in Fargo because of that. Like, we have to move to a place where it's better for us to be able to live, because it's like, if we bought a house here in Fargo, the taxes alone would kill me price wise. So we have to move to a place like away from Fargo, which is gonna suck, but like, it comes with some benefits and some downsides. But it would help, like, with me being able to hang out with you guys and make videos and stream, because I would be able to do it. We'd have more space to work with. We'd have more quiet. I could dedicate a room strictly to like recording and streaming. And even if I couldn't dedicate a room to it, I could dedicate using like a basement space or an attic space for doing this.
Or even part of our bedroom.
Exactly. Or using part of our bedroom to do it. But
Not ideal,
but
it would be something.
but workable. We'd have enough space to be able to work with it.
You always buy one of those like backdrop screen things.
Yeah, green screen is what you're referring to.
No, like one of the bifold screens.
But the point being, there's a lot behind the scenes that we're not talking about. There's also been family stuff that's been coming up. You know, between her family and my family, we've had a lot of things that we've had to do, and it's just, and not to mention, just sometimes there's things like errands to run and things I need to take care of. As much as I'd love to say like, oh, I just get this and this done and then I have all this time to work on this, it's like, I don't. Some things take longer than expected. Sometimes I'm not cooking supper until like 8 o'clock at night because I'm either working late or something needed to get done. And it's like, Abby can't be expected to do everything because of the fact that, you know, as much as I'd love to say, like, I get home from work and then Abby's already got supper in the oven and she's been taking care of baby and other children all day. Wow. And it's like, no, this isn't the 1950s. Like, Abby is not super duper mom.
I'm super mom.
Yeah, you're super mom. You're not super duper mom. You're not a super de-dupery saying. But I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. There's obviously things that we're not talking about for very personal reasons, and that mostly has to do with our family. Like, between her family and my family, like, her family's been going through tragedies, and my family's just been dealing with a lot of stuff, mostly just kids-wise, my nieces and nephews and all them. And my poor mom, who's currently dealing with the possibility of the Delta case of COVID-19. My poor nephew and his mom are currently dealing with that currently. But I just also want to just take a quick moment and say thank you guys. This hasn't been easy on us, and you know, every time I do pop onto a stream and every time I do pop in to do some videos, you know, I still see some of you guys. I still see oh my gosh, I still see you guys, you know, hanging out with me, and I appreciate your guys' patience. I know that for some of you guys this is probably very frustrating because of the fact that, you know, multiplayer Fridays have been sporadic and D&D has been a bit of a problem, and I'm doing the best I can. I really am. But I'm two cats fighting in the background. Just ignore them. But it is what it is, guys. And I just want to thank you guys so much for everything that you do and how much you guys hang out with me and dedicate your time to me, even though sometimes I feel like I'm not deserving of it. There is still content that I will be posting, and you guys will be kept up to date. I will try to make sure the Frosty Talks continue to be a regular thing on a weekly basis. But I'm not going to promise that, like, I'm going to have a video out, like, multiple times a week. In fact, videos actually might be more workable than streams currently because of everything going on. But I'm still going to be trying to stream as much as I typically would do. But there's no guarantees. But I just want to say thank you for everything you guys do and for hanging out with me. For now, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are doing well with everything going on. And just remember to stay healthy out there. Make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're taking precautions. Even with the COVID vaccine, that's not a guarantee. Just be smart. And also get your COVID shots. Oh, wow. In the meantime, I hope you all take care, stay healthy, and most importantly, I hope you all stay frosty. I will talk to you all soon. See ya.